Chek.
Okay.
Okay.
We are live.
We are live. Welcome, everybody. This is Jen Maleka with Functional Diagnostic Nutrition here. And obviously, we have our famous founder, Reed Davis. Excited to jump in with you guys and talk to you about ancestral diets today, because I'm sure a lot of you have tried different ancestral diets, whether that be like a paleo style diet or something else. And maybe you or your clients have struggled with getting results from that diet. So we're going to go over what are some of the common things that might get in the way and which type of diet is right for you and your clients, and give you some tips and tools on how you can get there. So Reed, I see the chat room filling up. There's a lot of people joining now. So let's have you take it away and share the information that we have with people today.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks for you, Jen, for being here, and for Jess, too, for watching the back end for us. So we have some staff here. And I just want to welcome everybody to the FDN family. We're a community of allied health professionals and health coaches, nutritionists, dietitians, nurses, personal trainers, chiropractors, acupuncturists, body workers, and all kinds of do-gooders like that. And I know you all want to do some good in the world. We have a wide variety of backgrounds, but we all come together in the name and the same purpose, and that's to help others and to learn to walk the talk so we can set and make them right. And so
Yes,
I'd like, Jen,
right,
if you...
Hey, Reed. If you're sharing your...
Yep. Okay, Jess.
Yet.
You're not?
No, so go ahead and share.
Okay.
Hold on, you guys, a moment.
All right, stand by. Go back to the thingy. It would help if I share the screen since I'm on slide 3 already. Okay. All right, here we go back to the thing. So now what do you see?
Still not seeing the screen. Jess, are you seeing? Oh, wait, here it comes. There it is. Okay, we're on the title slide. Perfect.
Yep,
We're
I got it.
ready to go now.
All right, I'm hearing a little feedback, I think, from one of your microphones. But otherwise, folks, let's get rolling here. We're not going to waste any time. I'm going to jump right into this. Again, we're all allied professionals. We're all trying to walk the talk so we can set an example for our clients. And we want to help them because it's our passion and that's what we love to do. And this is for you if you want to help people on a deeper level. If you have clients but they're not reaching their goals, maybe not all the way, even if they follow your program. So they might drop and they don't refer to you, and that sucks, because then you got a market for new ones all the time. Either that, or you or your clients still have unresolved health complaints. They don't have enough training on individualized protocols and on the lab work, of course, and ways to figure things out. And clients end up seeking help elsewhere. And again, you always got to find new ones. So you can't do what you love when you're spending all your time marketing. The other day I was speaking at a Chek conference. Paul Chek had me come to messes, and I said, raise your hand if you love marketing. And there's not one person, huge class, that raised their hand. No, because we're here to help people. So I just want to give you a bit of background first before we jump into the ancestral diets and how you can pick it out. And then I would encourage people, don't have to have a question. You could just say, yeah, read right on, or I don't like that. But just feel free to chime in anytime. Give me an amen if you want to. So I started a long time ago. I'm going to give you the ancestral diet. And it was over 20 years ago. I started working in a clinic as a nutritionist. And it was amazing how many people had 8 or 10 different practitioners. And for whatever reason, as naive as I was the last person they needed to see. And I work with a lot of leaders, a lot of alternative practitioners who now are listen practitioners. Back then, we were just called alternative. And my claim to fame is I ran a lot of thousands of tests on thousands of people because I could. And I wanted to get to the underlying causes and conditions. And I made my own observations about who got better and who didn't. And that includes both what I looked for, the protocols, the things we had people do. Now, obviously, those working closer to the underlying cause or condition got better. But FTN it's a way of finding those underlying causes and conditions. And the Dress for Health system, which I'll go over in a second, that's our protocol, step-by-step program. It's the most, well, I'll get to it in a minute. So anyway, I identified these hidden pieces of the puzzle by running the labs and developed a system that has ended the cycle of trial and error for tens of thousands of people. Now that's what the cycle that those people were in. That's why they'd seen 5 or 8 or 10 people already. So I have to cut to the chase here. I have to get to our concept of metabolic chaos. That's our one diagnosis. We're not doctors. We can't say you've got this or you've got that and here's how we're going to treat it. That's practical. But we want to just fix everything. So hidden stress and imbalances, if not soon resolved, cascade into other areas, and that's when the metabolic chaos ensues in the body. Things go haywire. There are weak links in metabolism. It can cause serious dysfunction in some people, more serious in others, and it leads to disease and symptoms. Now, the true problem, as we found out, is been 20 years would be the metabolic chaos. It's what's upstream, obviously. And depending on one's weak links in metabolism or vital voids in metabolism, dysfunction occurs. And then even more refined, through more metabolic individuality, disease occurs, symptoms show up. And that's how the problem appears. What people come in your office think the problem is. It's their headaches and sinuses and allergies and moodiness and irritability and digestive problems and aches and pains and grunts and groans and all that stuff. But that's not the problem, as you well know. And so we have this one diagnosis, metabolic chaos. And I want here to tell you that symptoms don't matter. The root cause may never be known, but that's okay. It could be undetectable. It could be very far removed from what you predict or even measure. In other words, it's so far upstream, and there's no lab that's going to show you what it is. But that doesn't matter. You can have an effect, a positive effect, when you know what steps to take. Now, it's coming right up, folks, where the diet fits in, but I have to give you this background. The first thing I learned to do in all those years running thousands of tests, and now I've taught a couple thousand others to do it, so multiply, and thousands of people running labs, figuring out what's really wrong. So we always run the saliva test, the HPA-axis sex hormone test, metabolic assessment profile, which is a urine assessment of digestion, oxidative stress, liver and detoxification. Mucosal barrier function, of course. Make sure you're actually absorbing food and it's not going where it shouldn't go, and you're protecting yourself from the environment. You know, that's where most of your immune system is. Pathogen screening and food sensitivity screening, really critical, because all of those things are the causes of metabolic chaos and the results of metabolic chaos, and it's just a bunch of chaos in the body. Now, worked out a system for it. It's HIDTE, you work in these 6 areas: hormone, immune, digestion, detoxification, energy production, and nervous system, and you're going to straighten out most people. That's the underlying causes or conditions. Kind of looks like this. So we've identified these healing opportunities. If I'm talking too fast, it's just because I love what I'm doing. I know my slides, and I want to get through to the ancestral part, but I have to give you this background. Here's all the stuff that we could find with just a few labs: a little saliva, a little urine stool, a couple. We're going to know what's wrong, and then we apply the wellness principles. Now you can start to smell where that ancestral diet's going to come in. It's in the wellness principles. So, but you know, we don't want to treat one thing like people that have seen 5 or 8 or 10 practitioners. They actually found one of these causal factors, and they are working on that, and they get a little bit better. Then they go to someone else, and you see you're working on the bottom part. Oh, someone else found a little liver problem, and finally down the road, someone else might have looked at some bacteria or yeast overgrowth. And you know what I'm telling you is, you can look at it all, find it all, small sampling of lab tests, and then you can fix it all at the same time too. So here we go. Step 1 was identifying these hidden and identifying the contributors to metabolic chaos. Step 2 is simple. It's actually complex, but it's a simple thing to do. It's Dress for Health Success. It's an epigenetic program. That means it doesn't cure. It's going to create an epigenome that will address every single healing we've identified. So it's based on these wellness principles like diet, eating the right food. And no two people are alike. There is no one diet for everybody, as you know. It's rest, of course, like going to bed on time and getting detoxifying and raising your hormones and all the things that does. And it's exercise. of course, your body. It gives you, dexterity and good posture and good balance and strength and flexibility and all the wonderful things exercise does. Stress reduction, probably even bigger than those three. And then supplements, which I don't have my own line, but I teach a lot about them. This is an epigenetic program so effective, FDN was granted a trademark by the USPTO. Patent and trademark. Remarkable. We've been teaching this for 11 years, and it's being refined all along. So now we're going to get into what we came here for, and thanks for this kind of great introduction and setup for this. So I want you in the office probably 15, 16 years ago. I was trying to figure out what was that right protocol, the dress for health success, development of it. And thank goodness, one day I was at a Borders bookstore, mostly because I like coffee and read for free, but don't like libraries. Actually, their coffee sucked. Oops. So I would go to Borders, and that's probably why they're out of business too. So when I found this book, The Metabolic Typing Diet, I was so jazzed. I bought 6 copies and took it back to the office and spread them around. And it's because it's an amazing concept, technology, proven system, very scientific, development by a guy who's now my good friend, William Wolcott. One thing can cause low energy, chronic fatigue, weakness, digestive, whether it's heartburn, bloating, gas, leaky gut kind of stuff, reduced libido, dysfunction, frigidity, name another problem. Somebody chip in here. Inability to conceive, brain fog, sleep problems, obesity, metabolic syndrome, pain and inflammation, anxiety, depression, mood disorders, attention deficit, focus, memory problems, heart disease, on and on and on, melanoma, leukemia, you name it, cancer, hypoglycemia. We can keep going here, folks. So what one thing could cause or contribute to that? Okay. What one thing can balance your body chemistry? Metabolic efficiency, reverse degenerative disease, restore function, build, optimize, and improve immunity, improve digestion, heal the gut, promote elimination, increase. You get where I'm going, so and so and so. What one thing? Well, obviously, it's the diet. Now, the problem that I discovered, and again, back to Bill, and if you want to get one of the most remarkable books on diet and health, it's The Metabolic Typing Diet. The problem is this: when people come in, they have, patient A or client A with health problem X gets well on a certain protocol or a certain diet, and patient B with the same problem has no change when they do that protocol, and patient C gets worse. So that happens. Now, if you're in the health game and you're using things like supplements or certain diets or certain therapies and things, this is true. And this is what I found years and years ago when I was first working with people. Guess what? In the year 2000, the most popular diet was the Atkins diet. And I tried the Atkins diet, and it worked good on me. Man, I had more energy pounds. I felt great, had great elimination. It just seemed to fuel me. My brain was clear. All the good things that you want from diet. I have lots of energy. I was in a good mood most of the time. And feeling of satiation. Wow, that's a good meal. I can go for hours now without eating again. But I put other people on it, no help, nothing. I put other people on it and say, I feel like crap on this diet. So what's the deal? The deal is that the ultimate effect of a food or nutrient on the body is not dependent on the value of the food, nutrient itself. The variable is the person. And so, when people say, oh, just use the ancestral diet, that's why we titled this. Yeah, sure, but which one? Why some ancestral diet approaches work for some people and not for others. How to determine which one's best for you and your clients. The importance of macronutrient ratios, and ways to investigate underlying issues disrupting the efficacy of a diet. In other words, ways to figure out why it doesn't work. So the first thing to really understand, and Jen, I can't hear anything, so if you were making comments or trying to chip in here, I can't hear it. Are we doing okay?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. We're having a little bit of an issue with people being able to see the slides or the slides progressing in the audio. So I'm working on some of that. Some people seem to be able to see things fine and others can't. So you just keep doing your thing, and we will be working on technical issues, helping everybody back here.
So I shared the screen, and we checked all this out. So I'm not sure, and I apologize for people having problems. We will let you watch it over again, or watch it. And again, sorry about that. So make sure we get your name and your email or something if you're not one of our regulars. And we do webinars. We talk about all different kinds of subjects. Today, we thought we'd focus on the diet part of the call. Sometimes we focus on those labs and the different labs. Sometimes it's more the protocols. And I really enjoy the fact is there's no one diet for all. And that's because throughout evolutionary history, the indigenous people of the world adapted to very different diets depending on what was available, the food available in that climate, geography. It's whatever plant and animal foods that they could put there. Prior to 10,000 years ago, all people were hunter-gatherers. There were no farmers. None of that. Agriculture did not exist until about 10, maybe 12,000 years ago. Someone got smart enough to throw a few seeds on the ground and see what happened. But hunter-gatherers, so it was all what was available in your immediate climate, geography, and so on. That was your epigenome at the time. There's a zillion different ones, but this is how it works. We all have requirements based on those epigenomes or environments, especially with regard to the macronutrients, these proteins and fats. There's things that just don't grow anywhere else in the world, and there's animals that eat those things that you might eat, or animals that live there that you could kill and eat. Hunter-gatherers at some point. That's the genes that you have. You got them from your hunter ancestors. So according to Bill, my good buddy, it is these different genetically based requirements that the nutrient could cause one person to feel good, have no effect on another, and cause a third person to feel worse. And my God, Jen, right now, I'm going back, is like I'm watching on the internet, on the Facebook, and someone will say, hey, what do you use for this problem or that problem? And it's almost insane to think whatever someone tells you is going to work for your client. If someone uses product X, Y plus Z, and you say, okay, great, thanks. You go and give that to your client, it might really lucky, it might do nothing, and it might make them worse. Again, it's not the product or nutrient or anything that matters. It's the so let's say that again. Man can adapt and evolve to suit his environment over time, a long time. The climate, geography, and what he could hunt and gather locally determined over time his or her group's nutritional requirements. In this sense, you could say that man is bred in the bone. It's in your genes. No one can escape their genetic inheritance. You can't escape it. We either meet genetic requirements or pay the piper. And I could just hear my buddy Bill saying it. Let's take an example. Here's Old Stone Age, known as Paleolithic hunter-gatherers. They had no cardiovascular disease, no diabetes, no acne, no cavities that we could find. The teeth, actually, they're one of the things that survive 200,000 or 300,000 years. Low infant mortality, absence of disease-caused bone malformations. In other words, if they found a bone malformation, it's because they broke it or someone stabbed them or something like that. Now, there's no signs of nutritional deficiencies at all in any remnants of Paleolithic people. In other words, paleo people. And that represents 95% of human history, and they live longer than Neolithics. Now I have another presentation where I talk about this guy, Utsi. You're going to see something really interesting sometime. Just go Wikipedia. Not right now, But Wikipedia, let's see the Iceman. It's an amazing story. How can you determine your own genetic requirements so you can be happier and healthier eating a real food ancestral diet that's right for you? Great question. That healthy diet. It was humans populated the entire globe. Evolutionary forces assured human survival on local foods, what they could hunt and gather locally. Due to what's in other stuff bred in our bone, if it was adaptation, natural selection, genetic mutation, survival of the fittest. So again, this is over a very long period of time. The first man, by the way, or non-monk, whatever you want to call that evolution, person was 2 million years ago. Remnants of very early humans in the Olduvai Gorge in Africa, and their bones are 2 million years old. So we're talking long time. Just let me look at the last 500,000 years, and I'd be perfectly happy. And actually, our Homo sapiens are about 250,000 years old, I think. So ancestral diet relations, as man spread across the planet, evolved over the world in response to differences in geography, climate, and local. Therefore, different Paleolithic or ancestral diets evolved for different geographies. That's super critical, worth writing down or remembering. Their diets. So one of the wisest people, and someone that I'm a big fan of, there's actually Society worshippers and people like that. There's a great book, Nutritional Degeneration, by Weston Price, who was quite a remarkable guy. He was actually a dentist, and they were some early nutritionists. They noticed that the 20th century that people were getting sick all the time, and it was their diet because their teeth were getting rotten. And he studied. Yeah, go ahead.
Just sorry, we're trying to work through some of the technical issues still. Suggestion: can you stop sharing your screen and then maybe reshare and see if that will fix it for everybody? Thank you, everyone, for your patience while we work through this. We really want to give you some great info tonight. Okay, screen share off. Going back to screen 2 and allowing that. And now I'm going to put the PowerPoint back up. Yep. And to presentation mode. So, great. So if everybody can chime in, let us know if you can see the slides, if you're still having issue. Also, you can let me know if you can hear me, Jen, better, or if you can not hear either of us, that would be great. So we can, Sarah says it's better. Vicki says looking better. Right. So you guys should all be seeing the Dr. Weston A. Price. Okay, we're good. Got it now. Okay, Reed, it looks like we're good. All right, go ahead. All right, well, sorry about that, folks. I'm pretty sure the recording is going to be good, and you can hear me. And, you know, what I'm saying is these are the pearls. This is a know it after 20 years of dedicating myself to helping people and trying to walk the talk myself so I could do it. And, you know, this is what I know. I've done this in the office and taught a lot of people this, and they're out there doing it. And and one of the guys we have to thank for that is Weston A. Price. He's original ancestral diet studier, and he didn't popularize it like some other people have with the paleo. You know, they didn't have internet back then, but he wrote good books, and people who followed his stuff, you know, get it. So he studied different indigenous cultures and found that indigenous people, they got headaches, they got some colds, they would get wounded, you know, by animals or each other. It would burn, they would have accidents, but they didn't have cavities, they didn't have emotional depression and things like that. They had no degenerate could see any signs of, unless they strayed from their ancestral diets. And their diets were really different. So what freaked him out that he wrote about here, and it's in this great book that I think should be in the library of everyone
studying. I mean, if you don't have this book, again, it's old, but it's still relevant. Diets are also different. There was the Swiss and hunter-gatherers all over the place, and they all ate different stuff. And these indigenous culture healthy. So how could they all produce optimum health? Well, there's no question then that ancestral diet works, but which one? There's no one ancestral diet that's right healthy for everyone. There are no good foods or bad foods, except in terms of one's unique metabolic individuality and genetic requirements. I can take that back because there are some foods now that are bad for everybody, and you'll hear me say, bad for trans fats and sugar and things like that. But basically, various genetic nutrients of different people can be characterized as their metabolic type. So now this is a term. It's actually more than just a term. It's a heuristic. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of analyzing humans, sorting them out, that works. It allows you to recommend the correct diet for each type of person. Once you're home free, there's still work to do. So one of the most important aspects of metabolic, in other words, what's the right diet for you, is the macronutrient ratios. One thing. By the way, there's people a lot smarter than me, and who figured this part out a long time ago. They got everybody eating different amounts and playing with the amount of protein, fat, and carbs that they ate. Now, obviously, there's people who didn't. That's all that was around. They had no, like Eskimos, typically didn't have a lot of carbohydrates. They had a lot of fat and protein, though, and they evolved perfectly and are perfectly suited for it. The high protein, high fat, and low carb works for them. They have the energy, they have the sense of well-being, they have the station, and they know it. And now the Quechuans are a tribe basically in the South America. They are the opposite. Pretty much their fuel mixture, the perfect fuel mixture, very high in carbohydrates. It's low protein, fat, and high carb. And so there's something that dictates this ratio. Like, how do you know? It's called, by the way, within though it would be different vitamins, different minerals, different trace elements, and different phytonutrients. So if you're eating protein, fat, and carbs in the right ratio, that's great. That's where we start when we're figuring out the right diet for someone. You really want to go further and think about this globally and ancestrally and genomically, like we have been. It wasn't just any protein, fat, any carbs, or like I say, protein and fat. It would be the ones that had the same minerals and vitamins and phytonutrients from your ancestral geographical location. Soil in Borneo is not the same soil as in the steppes of Mongolia. It's different micronutrient ratios, and so it's not just any protein, fat, and carbs. You got to have the micronutrient part also figured out. Remember that's part of the. So fuel mixture is very important in terms of macronutrient ratios, but which ones also count? Right? Vitamins, minerals, trace elements, phytonutrients, and get it from so different sources. Now the dilemma that we have is that acknowledging that genes form the basis of metabolic individuality and the right diet and nutrition for everyone. So ancestral is the only way to go, but no is not enough or even that helpful in selecting the proper. And one of the reasons is we're so mixed up. So the ultimate effect of a food or nutrient on the body is not dependent on intrinsic value of the food or nutrient. Is the person. That's already been stated on a previous. So within each person, what are the variables involved? Well, there are two fundamental homeostatic controls. This is a term that I've borrowed heavily from Bill Wolcott. Would tell you that there's a lot of different, or there's 12 homeostatic controls. Nothing Nothing's more important in terms of diet than the carbo-oxidative system. That's your fuel burning system. So you burn fuel, mostly the carbs and fats, and you can burn some protein. It has to go through more processes, but you will produce energy, and it's produced on a cellular level. Does anyone have to teach any of their cells what their job is? No. If you fuel them properly, if you can burn the right, this idea of energy production, right, the right quality, the right quantity of it, that cell will do its job, and you'll have a chance of being healthy. And so the truth is, though, based on this ancestral different genetic types, different parts of the world, climates, geographies, and so on, there are people who are fast oxidizers. They oxidize, they burn the fuel very quickly, and they're slow oxidizers. So that's basically the production of energy. To call the distribution of energy is also very, very important. That's regulated for the most part by the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic and parasympathetic. You all know sympathetic is your fight flight, parasympathetic is your rest digest. I think I'm giving up. So in this carbo-oxidative system, or the oxidation of food, it's intracellular oxidation. They're burn food in these various glycolysis, the citric acid cycle, burning of fuel to produce energy, ATP, or cellular energy. So the oxidizers require slow burning fuel. That means higher percent. Why? Because if you give a fast oxidizer fast burning fuel quickly. Now, Jen, we had an interruption there, but I think we're moving along pretty. And if anyone's saying anything, I'd like to know about it. I have no view of the control back end or any of that stuff. I'm just looking at what our guests are looking at the screen. So, fast oxidizers. My cousin, Chris Davis, way up in Canada, way up north. I always say I think he was a bad priest because they banished him way above the Arctic Circle, where his parishes were all Cree Indians. They weren't quite Eskimos, not that far north, real fast oxidizers. And I asked him, do you have a medicine man? He says, yeah, me. I'm the priest. I'm the medicine man. I said, no, not for, like, if they get sick. What happens? Oh, he goes, oh my God, they're all sick. They all have diabetes. It's rampant. They're all fat. And they go down to the government clinic and get their metformin and insulin and things like that. And then, the young men commit suicide at a high rate, than like 10 times higher than any other population. Things like that. And a huge reason, and we rattled up some diet can cause, and it's because they're eating fast. They're eating, Tim Horton donuts and drinking coffee and eating actually Kentucky Fried Chicken way up there and things like that. They're not eating. They're not. And by the way, he said that the caribou, when they crossed the road, you'd have a car off and wait an hour or so, up to 2 hours for that's how big the caribou herds were. A road, like they're moving, and you're just going to sit and wait. So they're not doing that. They're not eating fruits, like blueberries would grow in, whatever, summer grass or something. But anyway, that's what happens. When you give a fast oxidizer fast vegetables, they're always hungry. They're never satisfied. They're depressed, and they eat more and more and more and more of it. Just get some energy. They're never going to get it. Slow oxidizers, the opposite, are fast burning fuel mixtures. And when you meet a person who can live off salad, they eat a much higher percentage of carbohydrates. They're slow oxidizers, therefore they can and need the fast burning fuel. So another analogy would be like let's look at it this way, and I'll tell you the analogy in a minute. So here we have fast oxidizer over here. We have the oxidative system, and we have meat-eating tendency oxidizer. We have vegetarian tendencies for the slow oxidizer. Now, if was down here, if you were a fast oxidizer, would you want to consume slow or fast burning fuel? And you could just think it's it's the opposite. Fast must eat slow burning fuel. Like fat, they burn very slow. It's like putting a log on a fire. If you put a piece of paper, a fast burning on a real fast oxidizer, so a fast oxidizer is like a bonfire. Man, their oxidative rate at least is cooking. So you put watermelon on that, it's like a piece of paper. Poof, gone. No, nothing good going to happen from that. So now, if you're a slow oxidizer here, would you want to consume more fast or slow burning fuel? You want to consume the very fast burning fuel, and you got to balance it out to the middle. So fast, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. So they're like this, and they want them like this. Eat some nice, like vegetables. You could eat some whatever you're eating. Tendency over here. So that's the oxidative balance. Is that all you need to know? Nope. You got to know something else. This is something that Bill Wolcott figured out. There already were people knowing about the oxidative system. We were helping a lot of folks by getting them to eat the right amount of protein, fat, and carbs. But remember, you've got another system working simultaneously. It's the autonomic nervous system. You could call it neuroendocrine. That's the master regulator of metabolism. In other words, distribution of the energy. So most people are either sympathetic, they're more in fight flight, you're a person. They're parasympathetic, like me, rest and digest. And they will be dominant in one or the other. And yes, there are people who are pretty balanced in between. But let's just take an example here. Same thing. The parasympathetics, like me, and I'm also a fast, so I'm a meat-eating type of guy. That's my paleo. And that's why Atkins diet works so good for me, because it was like, eat a bunch of meat and fat. Don't eat a bunch of carbs, not even a lot of fruit perhaps. You need the vitamins and minerals, but you should be getting them from this type of diet over here. We have the list, we have the diets. So some stimulate, strengthen, or support the sympathetic system, well, effect on the parasympathetic system, and others would have the opposite. So if you're parasympathetic, what would you want to do? You'd want to balance. Let me go back. So I hope this is working in good time, Jen. So we have the fulcrum, the autonomic nervous system thing right on top of that, and it's slanted to the left. A person can be overly parasympathetic. Like me, if I eat wrong, if I eat too much carbs, sluggish, actually sleepy, kind of stupid too. I can sit there in a fog because I'm not eating right. I get too rest and digest. Food goes like right through me. It's really amazing. You're sympathetic. And so this is why maybe your kid's a couch potato and the other kid's not. You're feeding one, the other one, it's horrible for him. So couch potatoes can't seem to get off their, are probably parasympathetic dominant, and they need to eat right to do what? We did oxidative balance. So now, parasympathetic dominant needs to do this. Go ahead. More meat and get balanced out.
Hey, Reed, can we try just stopping the screen share again and then restarting it? Because that did seem to work for some people to get them back on for a while.
Okie dokie.
Hang in there, you guys. I know some of you are still having some issues, so we're trying to work through them, and there will be a replay that's coming out too. Okay. So we'll try this one more time. We're getting there.
Don't you just love webinar, Jim?
Yeah. While you're doing that, I'll just chime in here and say that the metabolic typing stuff that Reed's been going over, I know some of you are catching bits and pieces of it, but you'll be able to watch it in the replay. And for me as an FDN, when I went through the course initially, having been a personal trainer coming into FDN, I thought that I was eating healthy and eating right for my body. And when I did the metabolic typing test, it was just like a light bulb went on. It was very just insightful for me, and it totally changed the way that I eat and how I view food and relationship to food and my health. And that was one of the first changes that I made initially, actually, Reed, from going through the course. It was the first thing I was able to implement because we get the results so quickly. And I like instantly felt better. Like my energy was improved. I started losing weight right away. Like my allergies, the intensity of them started to reduce. So there's this huge piece. Like, I think that I bet a bunch of you on here could resonate with this. Like, you think that you're eating healthy because you're eating a paleo diet or maybe keto or Whole30, or you've tried something else, but you're still either personally stuck or you're working with clients that are like that. And I would say that most of my clients that come to me, that work with me, I call them evolved because they have tried a lot of these more evolved diets out there. They don't have terrible diets. They are trying to eat healthy, but they're missing this piece about balancing their macronutrients and like the autonomic balance that Reed's been talking about here between parasympathetic and sympathetic dominance, and really being able to the food combination part is like so incredibly important, as well as some other hidden healing opportunities that affect that also. So part of everybody that's staying on the line with us right now, you guys are going to get a free gift for attending the webinar tonight, which we're going to give you our diet check record tool, where you're actually be able to kind of put this into play, like write down what it is that you're eating and see how your body is responding and make some adjustments to make sure that your body is in balance. So Reed, I see your screen's back up here, so I'll let you continue on with where you're going. It looks like everybody can hear me clearly and they can see your screen now. A couple people are chiming in saying, so true, it's hard to find the right fit with diet. There's so many conflicting theories out there. So Reed, go ahead and take it away and let's finish it up here.
Yeah, I'm doing, I don't know what I could do differently to make the tech side go better, but here we have the autonomic nervous system, fundamental homeostatic control. In other words, you got to get this right. And dominant, like me, you see how it's leaning. There's the fulcrum that is it. I don't know. This person would be balancing like me, dominating towards parasympathetic. Well, you guess what? You have to eat so that you go back like this. You got to eat the foods, the nutrients that stimulate, strengthen, or support that's weak side, or the other side, which is sympathetic. So believe it or not, now most people might be sympathetic. With today and society and things, I think you might run into more sympathetics than parasympathetics, but still, we're out there, us laid back, cool people, don't get excited about very much, but except things like this. So now let's take the next person who is sympathetic dominant. If you're just sympathetic dominant, in other words, your personality and you're kind of uptight anyway, you're just leaning in that fight flight. In other words, do you want to eat foods that stimulate that? Heck, you won't feel good. You're going to definitely want to eat foods that support or stimulate or strengthen. Right. And that's what you do if you're sympathetic dominant. You got to figure that. Two systems we talked about, and they both get balanced the same way. With food, you balance out the oxidative rate, which is the production of energy, and now the autonomic side, and that's just you should be pretty happy, right? So that's as much of MT as I want to get into right now. The basic diet are fast oxidizers, slow oxidizers, or mixed. So there are three diets based on whether you're, depending on which type you are, and depending on which autonomic type you are, you would same thing. There's foods that will strengthen the weak side and fuel your cells properly. You see here it says mtdiet.com, find your diet. That's something that's always available to you. And I believe if you go to that website, mtdiet.com, don't do it now, for a gift to the Dress for Health Success guidebook, somewhere on that page. If not, I'll give it to you anyway. So this is straight out of Bill Wolcott's metabolic typing diet, and it's what I use in my practice. And if my customer, if I do metabolic type on you, and I do it on every student, you'd see how this works on yourself. So what you do, and this is just the top breakfast. So there's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is what you do while you're figuring it out. And all the time, hey, Reed, how do I know if I'm eating the right diet? Well, there's three major areas. Like I said, we write in breakfast. Let me see if it's here. Yeah, okay. So for breakfast, I had eggs, steak, water, and coffee. Yes, I like coffee. And I don't drink a lot, and I do put collagen in it. And I happen like bulletproof collagen. But I've tried the others, and they're good. So if I eat eggs, steak, water, and coffee, and my appetite cravings, so it would be basically satiety, satiated, then here's how I would feel. I would feel satisfied. I would not have sweet cravings. I would more food. You know, if I ate a true meal, I would not feel well, and I would not need to snack before the next meal. That's satiety. Your appetite is good. You're satiated. You don't have any cravings. So that's number one, satiety. You're satiated. It satisfied your hunger. Now, the next thing, that's not good enough. That's good, is energy levels. You should feel renewed, have good, lasting, normal sense of energy. And as a parasympathetic oxidizer, I want to tell you, I lose energy sometimes during the day. All I have to do is go eat. That's it. Just go eat, and my energy is renewed. I've filled the tank back up, and now I've fueled my cells so that I can just feel good. And that's because my body's in tune with my metabolic type. Fast oxidizer, parasympathetic dominant. And so I get this good, lasting, normal sense of energy. Matter of fact, it's, what is it, 4 something in the afternoon? I haven't eaten since lunch, like four hours ago. I still feel great because I ate a nice meal and I'm in good shape. Now, that's still not good enough. So satiation, no hunger, energy levels are good. You need to feel good too. Remember we talked about the wrong diet can make you depressed. It can turn you mentally slow, sluggish, spacey, inability to think, or think quickly anyway, or clearly. You could have hyper, overly rapid thoughts, inability to focus or concentrate, apathy. You know, you can't give a crap about anything. Depression, withdrawal, sadness, anxious, obsessive, fear. All those can be caused by the wrong breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And so this idea of emotional well-being or sense of well-being is huge. And again, you can go to the Metabolic Typing Diet, read all about, and that book probably is in 14 languages or something now. It's just crazy. And it's not a new book. It's not a fad. It's just science. And you will get this improved sense of well-being when you eat the right food. So that's how we judge. Now, I guess I could have been using this animation all along here. I just forget that it's in there. So here we go. Eggs, steak, water, coffee. And you're able to check off these boxes here. Jen, I'm hoping everyone can see. But let's take another one where oatmeal, coffee, and an energy bar. If I eat that, you know, it's not enough protein and fat. I'll feel starved. Guess what? I'm going to be not satisfied. Feel like something was missing. I'm going to feel the need for a snack. Real soon, meal gave me too little energy. Felt hyper beneath. Mentally slow. Again, these were some of those on the sense of well-being side are. So there's one last thing. We've gone over oxidative rate. That's the protein, fat, and carb ratio. And hopefully with the right micronutrients in them. It means the right fats and the right carbs. And then there's the idea of distribution of energy. So let's take oxidative balance fine-tuning. Let's say you know you're a fast oxidizer dominant. Well, you want to it's here, and you go back like this. And over here, if you're a slow oxidizer, lean and slow, you want to take it back like this. Take it back like this. Add more carbs. So here at the bottom, this is how Bill Wolcott explained it to me, and I've just put it into simple terms here. But you see on the bar at the bottom, there's the F for fast and S for slow at the bar. And this person, let's say, is a fast oxidizer. Well, they don't know exactly where they are on the radio dial. If you add more fat and protein and you feel really good, in other words, you fill out your DCR and everything looks good, you have the energy and you have the sense of well-being, well, guess what? Good on you. Now, if you move it this way, you say, hey, I want to play around with this, and it's like dialing in an old-fashioned radio station. Remember, you used to dial it down and you get to where it just sounds right, but then you go past just to double check, and as you go past, you get out of tune again, so you bring it back just a hair to where you really sounds the best. You can do the same thing with your sense of well-being, energy, and satiation levels. So you're going to move it this way. You could go back to here. You could try going back down to here, but go this way, adding or deleting a little bit of the protein and fat in the right place. Now, when you get to here, if you're a fast oxidizer and you're adding in more vegetables, you're going to find out, nope, that didn't work for me. You're going to go back to where you started or back to where it felt really good right there. Now, next page is the autonomic balancing. Same thing. You can tune it in the same way. If you're parasympathetic, you want to balance it out by eating more of the protein fat. If it's the other way, opposite for sympathetic dominance, you're going to add in more vegetables and balance. So you can do the same thing here. It's parasympathetic on the left and sympathetic dominant on the right. You can, if you're parasympathetic, you can tune it in just like that. You'll get to a point where, oops, nope, that's wrong. Let me go back to where I was, or you'll dial it in. And for the most part, that's going to be your daily diet. Now, on the next page, we have how it looks on your plate. You're not going to weigh any grams. You're not going to do any kind of anything except the way it looks on your plate. It's based on volume, the way it looks on your plate. Now, so I'm a guy that could do well with the plate on the left. You see, there's actually a steak. There's a couple kinds of steak. There's some lobster tail there. There's a little piece of broccolini, and there's some beans. It looks like mixed beans, very high in protein. So that would fuel me up really well. I could eat that for breakfast, and I'd probably work out in the garden till 2 o'clock in the afternoon with no need to refuel, just lots of water. I would just stay hydrated, and I should be okay. I get fed if I go somewhere and they give me the meal on the right, which is mostly broccolini, a little bit of steak, and some orange. I know squash, which I actually like, but I can't eat too much of it. I would just eat all the meat and a bit of that green stuff so that I get my macronutrient ratios right. I'd have to leave some of the broccolini. I definitely wouldn't go much into that starchy squash. You get me? So it doesn't mean that you have to order this if you're a parasympathetic fast. You can just order, or you go somewhere, you're going to be polite, you're going to eat this, and when they're not looking, you scrape the rest off for the dog or something, right? Do not bother counting calories or grams or anything else. Just look at the way it is on your plate. Eat the right ratio for you. You'll feel it. So basically, your diet is your ancestral diet. It's your basic diet, and it needs to be not only fine-tuned with macronutrient ratios, you'll need to eliminate foods to which you have an oral intolerance. So it's minus the foods you're sensitive to. Again, look at the plate on the left. I would eat all of the steak, including the fat, or unless it's gristle, I would trim that off. I would definitely eat most of that salad, but I would leave the bread. I mean, it's just too much carbs for me, and even if it's a high wheat bread, and especially if it's not gluten free, for me, because I'm a celiac. Yep.
Let's do let's do a refresh of the slides. When you refresh the slides, it's like people can see for a little bit, and it goes good, and then it'll start getting blurry, or get stuck for some people.
Okay.
So
Well, folks, I just want to tell you, we're trying out a new webinar program here. I don't think we're going to use it again, so don't give me a bad rap or a bad rep. And I'm not going to use this thing again because I've had trouble with it before, and I just don't want to. So Jen, that's what I have to say about that. So tell me when you can see my screen. My screen again. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. Yeah, something.
No problem.
Here.
All right, it's coming up.
All right, so what I just did for you guys is I showed you the way to fine tune your macronutrient ratios. Now it's a little bit harder to make sure you get all of the micronutrients, because if your genetic type ate on the steppes of Mongolia, we're not going to find any yak steaks for you to eat. Those yak steaks would have the right minerals, the right vitamins, the right phytonutrients, because those yak would be eating the local flora, plants, which are absorbing the right minerals from the soil, so to speak. So you're going to probably have to do some supplementation to get the micronutrient ratios correct. But that's okay. There are micronutrients, or in other words, vitamins, that are for your type. So the MT diet is your perfect ancestral diet. It's your diet. You can fine tune it with those macronutrient ratios. You'll need to eliminate foods which you have an oral intolerance. So that bread right there, I have an oral intolerance, celiac. I can't digest it very well. I really get sleepy if you give me any of that. So now on the right-hand side, you see something that would be good for a fast oxidizer, maybe leaning a bit towards a mixed oxidizer where they can eat a little bit more. But you'll learn when you use the diet check record sheet or something like it, how much of that vegetation you can actually eat. Now, by the way, if you get fed that and you're a slow oxidizer, you're going to eat all the green, the tomatoes. You see the oil, you might pour a little bit of that on it so you get some fat, but you might not want to eat all the meat. That's just going to be up to you. And it's not what you like. It's not what your religion is. It's not how you feel about meat. It's what fuels your cells that matters. This is the argument I have with vegans and vegetarians. That's great, but as long as you're getting the right macronutrient ratios. If you feel like crap, it's not the right diet for you. So I just last couple slides here, working with the diet check record. Test for food sensitivity. Provide a customized diet plan. This is what we do for our clients. Focused on eating diet minus foods bad for everyone, like sugar and alcohol, trans fats and things like that. Anything with a lot of preservatives and insecticides, pesticides, herbicides, rodenticide in it, and foods which they're sensitive. Again, there's easy tests. It's all part of our testing program. So we work with ourselves and our clients to balance their blood sugar, help them tweak their macronutrient ratios, and avoid sugar and alcohol for 3 months. Until you have sensitivities tests, you can also have them avoid dairy and grains. Now, Bill Wolcott he's certain, based on Price's work and his work for 35 or maybe 135, that some people can do okay on those things. And ensure adequate water intake. Focus on the positive, what they can eat instead of what they cannot. Jen, I know you've done this. You run a food sensitivity testing. I can't have my, and I don't mean to be mocking you, but you know what I'm talking about. Someone says, oh, I'm really disappointed I can't eat carrots anymore. I love carrots, Like, don't focus on that. Focus on everything that's listed that you can eat. And boy, doesn't that make you happy. Look at here's your shopping list. It makes it really easy. They can go to their favorite, Whole Food type store, and great shopping list there. Here's all the proteins, the fats, the carbohydrates, the things that you can eat. Focus what has been eliminated eliminated from your diet. Just don't wish for that too much. So now, folks, as we wind down here, and I've got a special offer for you, so please hang in there. Now you know why client A with health problem X gets well on diet or protocol Z, and B with the same problem gets no change, and C with the same problem gets worse when you give them all the same protocol. You must customize your protocol. And now if you're on the whatever diet you're on or not. Like me, I was on the Atkins diet, and it worked great for me, but it either met my precise genetic requirements or it didn't. And it did. Things about it that, you know, I had to learn about the micronutrients and the autonomic balance and these different things. But again, I was working back in the office. I ran 10,000 or more than 10,000 tests on men, women, and children, observed who got better and who didn't. I filled in a lot of pieces of the puzzle that my alternative medicine mentors, if you will, hadn't. And it's just because I'm assertive and aggressive, and I like, not afraid of running a bunch of labs and not knowing exactly what I was doing for a few years there. So now we teach health coaches how to fill the needs gap and end the cyclotron era for themselves, obviously, because you have to walk the talk. And you know, here's the thing: it's metabolic chaos, it's weak link dependent, causing dysfunction, it's metabolic individuality, including metabolic typing, leading to disease and symptoms, which is how the problem of picture shows up. Don't treat that. You got to be able to go up and sort out metabolic chaos. That's your one diagnosis, and you can have a positive effect upon it when you know what steps to take. You want to assess the underlying conditions and contributors to metabolic chaos. We can teach you very coding, including careful history taking and well-chosen lab work. Customize the dress, including the D, diet. The others are just as important, and there's some complex, at least the diet is straight. And run the program, the health coaching process. We figure out what needs fixing and help. We actually don't fix anything. We get everything out of the way so that the body can fix itself. But clients would say we've helped fix them. You check for things within the hormone, immune, digestion, detoxification, energy production. We just spent a lot of the part of the webinar here on energy production and nervous system balance. So you just learned these two parts of the hidden stress system and investigation. So we run these labs and we do metabolic typing tests. We work on everything all at once, simultaneously. We sort out metabolic chaos. We figure out what's wrong. We do the DRESS, and that's all of these to take these out. And then 3 is run the program. So step 1, assess. Step 2, customize dress. Step 3, run, like work with people. And I want to tell you how amazing it is. And when you get all that information, you don't need to be selling people 6-month or 12-month or 18-month. You sell them a 90-day program. And you get things turning around going. I'm not saying they're going to get all better in 90 days, but people want things quickly. And when you do the metabolic typing test, when you get things dialed in so fast, so quickly, and as Jen said, you can do the diet before you've even got test results back, saliva, urine. You can away on the right diet. So when you do that, they get better fast. You get people feeling like so much better in 3 weeks, and then, man, they've turned around their hormones, their immune system, digestion, deep systems. They're not perfect, but they're so much better. They're ready to sign up for another 90 days. You've taught them so much they want to go live their lives and teach it to other people in their family, whatever. So as our boating to health, you have to be ready for some twists and turns, some out, falling off and heading up, and things that we do in sailing. It works, and healing occurs when the healing process focuses on identifying, removing as many conditions, including the wrong diet, and supporting function through corrective behavior and natural therapies. The right diet, rest, exercise, and so on. Vital reserve, that's an innate. Remember, we don't really fix anything. We get all the crap out of the way so that the cell intelligence, when you fuel them right, and they have everything they genetically require, it's quite remarkable what turn of events. Why do we coach down contributors to the wrong diet and all the other things? And that makes a real difference in your client's health and well-being, and they will start. So what were you going to do with your next client would be my question. The last couple slides here, folks, in. Stop losing clients because you don't know how to heal them. Use a science-based system. Run the right labs. Use highly individualized protocols. Resolve metabolic chaos. Be the last person they need to see. Best work helping clients to feel and perform at their best. So here's the plan, and this is a couple pitch slides, if you'll permit. Plan: join the world's leading health coach training program. Finish the program. Get the investigative skills and learn how to identify and apply the wellness principles, and grow your business by getting real results in your client's health and well-being instead of spending all your time blogging and Facebooking. Why don't you actually just help people left and right and have them refer you customers left and right? So the course curriculum, you work on your own schedule, you get a lot of clarity and confidence how to fix the problems you find with the caveat I've given you. Your onboarding, packaging, making the money you deserve, in our business program or style. You will work. Be ready to consult with clients right out of the gate. You're going to practice numerous times. You need to write your fingertips. You don't have to invent any documents or intake or any that's legal form, nothing. And you get to work with a group of peers who do cool things to hang out. We have a conference coming up next week, actually, and things so you can hang out with each other and pay it forward. And here's the final two slides. So our course, which has been valued at way over $59.95, we've maintained time now. We give you tremendous and values like running 3 labs on yourself and all the mentoring, the business module, the other things that we support you with, all the practice plates. It's easily a $12,000 course. URL for you to follow at the bottom of the screen and the next couple of screens. So its value is roughly $12,000. It includes, as I said, the 3 labs, the HPA Axis, the Metabolic Assistant Profile, and the MT Diet. But there are plans available, and there's the price. Single payment of only $59.95 instead of $11. That's half price. That's $6,000 savings. And you can visit that URL. But what I'd like you to do is if you want to double check, and we suggest you do, that this is the right course for you career-wise, talk to me or one of my career counselors, a couple of whom are on the call with us today. Go to the same page, if the end today, and book a career counseling session. Do that tonight. Matter of fact, we're going to stay on here for answer some questions, go over a few things. You do that tonight, and I will give you an additional $500 off. So it's easily a $12,000 course. I think only $59.95, and if you book a call with one of my career counselors, we'll give you an additional $500 off. They will, I'm sure it's right for you. They're going to talk with you, if you want, about how much do you need to make to be happy as a health coach. Which is exactly how you can do it. I teach that in the course. And they'll discuss with you, can you actually make that? And who do you most want to serve? What transformation do you want to help people with? How can you make the biggest impact possible as a health coach? As an FDN health coach, you're going to make a huge impact. And how do I make this the best career decision of your life? As so many people have that's what it meant to them. And ask anything else you want to know about the course. So if you wanted, please book a career counseling session. You'll talk to one of the lovely people, and it'll look like this. When you click that right through the arrows, book career counseling session, the next thing you'll get is you pick Kelly, pick Jess, pick Piper. They're all amazing. They're all who know how to make money doing this and know how to help people. And they walk the talk. You'll choose a date and time that works for you at your convenience. You'll save it. You'll put in your name and your email and so on. Obviously, please give us an accurate phone number, and make sure to add it to your appointment calendar. So you'll add it to whether it's Google Outlook or whatever. I use Outlook. I'll click that, and it's on your calendar itself, and save it when they give you the confirmation page. You'll get an email confirmation. Again, make sure you add it to your appointment calendar, and I'm going to go back up now to the sort of close page, this one. So this is what I'd like to do, Jen. Well, people are really easy. Just go to that URL right there, click that book career counseling session. I hope our server doesn't crash. Because we haven't had good technical luck tonight.
Well, we're getting a ton of hits on the website. I can see it for people booking their appointments and booking chats and things like that. So we definitely have limited number of appointments too. But so get on there. I see Craig's chatting with our team. Some other people are chatting with our team to book their appointment. So certainly take advantage of that also. Sarah's saying that she's trying to book an appointment, but there's nothing in your time zone. So Sarah, we can email too. I don't think we have the email up on here, so I will put it in our chat here for everyone. So our email is fdninfo@afdnp.com. So if you can't find a time that works for you, then you can certainly email us. So I just put that in the chat for everyone. It is fdninfo@afdnp.com, and Jess just reposted it without that mail to thing in there, Jess, and maybe repost the email for people also, and Reed's writing it on the screen for everybody. Sean's saying, I'm only about 2 months into the course and it's amazing. 2 thumbs up. That's awesome. And Sarah, I see that you're in Southeast Asia. We do have people that are in that area too. So we're happy to help, or happy to talk with you and see if the courses are right fit for you, for sure. Let's see. I'm looking for any other questions. If you guys have questions, please type them in. I see Chip has been on the webinar with us too. Chip is one of our newest FDN trainees. He took the FDN intro course and then continued his education into the full course, which is super awesome. So good for you, Chip. Let's see. Sarah was asking, what is the link for the test questionnaire on mtdiet.com? Reed mentioned earlier. So Sarah, that is mtdiet.com is where you can grab that test. But remember, the metabolic typing test is something that we do include in the course. It's one of the 3 tests that is included in the course. So if you're considering doing the course, you should chat with us, book your appointment, and let's see if that's a right fit for you. If you qualify for that $500 off by booking your appointment now, then you will get that included as a freebie, as like a bonus for doing the course too. Let's see if there's any other questions that are coming in here. Stephanie's asking if your upcoming conference is open to the public. I live in San Diego. Yes, Stephanie, it is open to the public. So Stephanie, please email our staff. We actually just took down the ticket sales on the website, so you won't find them there, but we do have some tickets that are stashed away for special opportunities like this with the people that are attending the webinar. And so if you email us, we can see what we have left in our stock for tickets, or our inventory of tickets, and we can surely get you a ticket. So email us. Again, that's fdninfo@afdnp.com, and the course counselors can also help you with getting a ticket to the conference. And that's for anybody else that's live with us tonight too that would like to consider that. The conference is happening November 1st through the 3rd. And then it's in San Diego, and we are doing recordings of the conference. So if you can't make it to the conference in San Diego, you can go to the fdnconference.com website, and you can purchase the recordings on pre-sale actually right now as well too. So great. Just a lot of comments on that are coming in here, Reed. Is there anything else that you wanted to review? Or just go back and emphasize? It seems like we have good audio right now with everybody.
Yeah, all of a sudden. I'll go back to this idea of how FDN works. Now, this is something that I've been working on for 20 years. Started in 2000 and what was it, 1999. Yeah, doing this the whole century. So far. I don't plan on doing anything else for the rest of my life. I'm 66 years old. I mean, I've been very, very hard on my body prior to getting into the health field. I just thought I'd always be healthy. I was always weight and, felt great and pretty much abusing my body left in vehicle accidents and sports injuries and smashing my head and things like that purpose. But I also did a previous career. I was exposed to a lot of chemicals, like dangerous chemicals, and I'm not sure what that did to my liver way back then. As a matter of fact, I remember asking about it 40 years ago. Say, hey doc, is there any way that I could tell what's going on with my liver if it's, any of these chemicals are getting inside me? He said no. We have all these environmental pollutant panels and ways of telling now how toxic you are and what's circulating through the liver and things. So anyway, last 20 years investigating, running labs. I've run hundreds of labs on my, like maybe 25 different labs each, or some of them 10 times. And I just speak from experience and knowing that you guys can count. Also, this is really important. Health coach is going to take over health building on the planet. In 1903, Thomas Edison said a lot of smart things, but one thing he was completely wrong about. He said, and it's very famously quoted all the time, the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patient instead in care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause and prevention of, horsepucky. If the doctor of the future is going to give no medicine, well, first of all, we're in the future. And I won't even ask you to guess. Last year in the U.S. alone, 4.5 billion were filled. So he was wrong. The doctor of the future is giving plenty of medicine. So the care of the human frame, the cause and prevention of disease is left to us. That's our backyard. Doctors, it's not their backyard. They still give medicine for disease. They're great at it. I think here in the U.S. at treating disease. And if you are wounded, if you have something growing out of your forehead, you probably should go get checked out by a doctor and he'll make sure that you're not dying. Find so common, this idea of the cycle of trial and error, what we find so common is that people go to the doctor because they feel lousy and they say nothing's wrong with you. In other words, you're diseased enough yet for us to treat you. You got to go get a little more diseased, when your numbers on your labs are a little bit worse, or maybe a lot worse, treat you for whatever that diagnosis is. Well, in the end, we don't care about diagnosis. We completely give a monopoly to doctors on diagnosing disease. We don't care about that. We don't diagnose, treat anything specifically. We treat everything, every cell, tissue, organ, system in the body simultaneously. Now, it's known as non-specific treatment, like eating right. It treats no particular thing, but it treats everything. And so it's one of the sort of tricks that we have in our bag, this idea of now all the rest of our protocol is the same mentality. We make observations about metabolic chaos and remove as many contributors and stressors as possible. And that reveals or unmasks at some point the basic system or function that's actually failing. Where you're weak, it will be uncovered. Now, you can't grow back, but it's really amazing when you nurture the systems that are actually failing, the cells, tissues, organ systems. When you restore normal function, support the weak links, metabolism, clients invariably get better. It just is the way things work in our world. And it outs specific treatment. So if you have diarrhea and you go in and someone says, I know how to treat diarrhea, um, they're going to leave about 8 zillion other functions in your body unimproved. They might actually get you to not have diarrhea anymore, but it doesn't make you better. Not very much. Keeps your underwear cleaner, and that's about. So healing occurs when the healing process is focused on identifying, removing these contributors to metabolic health, supporting function to corrective behavior, natural therapies. What does that mean? No prescriptions, no surgery, corrective behavior, and natural therapies. If we did uncover some required drugs or surgery, we know exactly who to send you, because we've got good doctors. That is not our wheelhouse, and again, we're happy to refer broken bones, and if you caught some weird thing on an airplane or wherever you were and things like that, yeah, go get doctors will get you out of the woods. And then what? You butt in if we're still on, because you know me, I'll just keep talking.
We're here. Yeah. There's Jess has been chiming in with some of the links, and I think we're winding up with questions. So I think you can finish up what you're saying.
Yeah,
we're
so
kind of good to go.
Well, I'm very proud of our system, and I'm certain about it. And we've trained thousands of people, and everyone says our course is worth a lot more. It's very robust. This is not some. Can you mute that out? It's very. I'm very certain about this. That is a tremendous value. The $59.95. And over the years, I've listened to every person who's ever taken the FDN course. I still personally interview every graduate and say, I ask for, what are they going to do next? And we do a lot of, camaraderie and rah-rah and stuff like that. Ask every person, how can I make the course better? What else could I have done to make this course? And they tell me. So over 11 years, they've added a lot of stuff to it. But as much as I can, I just do it to do it. We added and all the mentoring that goes along, and the role playing, and that kind of stuff. We business model, so people go out and be successful out of the gate. We added those community support groups, and there's different ones for the trainees, for the special groups, things like that. The community also includes running our conference, like we have. Come 200 FDNs there, a great lineup of speakers and vendors, and everyone working in direction, plus all my legal and practice. So the course is easily worth 12 grand. I'm only charging, again, back down here, the $59.95. We have payment plans available, and if you want to get this 12 payment under $500, a very reasonable amount, book a career counseling session with our career counselors, and they're amazing people. You can talk to Kelly, you can talk to Jess, you can talk to Piper. They'll talk to you about reality of being a health coach. So if you're right now a personal trainer, nutritionist, if you're a massage therapist, yoga, any kind of, we also have doctors taking this course because they want to learn how to do distance coaching and use our business model and break the handcuffs of that their medical license might be presenting to them. Get out insurance games and things like that. Learn how to have a cash practice and be really happy. And if you want to talk to us about that and get an extra $500, please book the career counseling session. And
great.
That's about all I have to say about that.
Yeah. I still see we're getting a ton of inquiries through the chat, and people are booking appointments. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up here, Reed. A lot of great responses, great info. As we said earlier, there definitely will be a recording or a replay that's going to go out to everybody. So look for that in your inbox probably tomorrow at some point in time. And then, of course, for everybody that was on the line with us tonight who attended, there is the free gift as well. So you guys will have an email about that here in 30 minutes or so, where you can download our diet check record and kind of go through and refine your diet, do this test not test, but a kind of like assessment on yourself as you're eating and seeing how your body is responding and starting to make some adjustments to your own diet to see how this would work with your clients as well, to just figure out what exactly is right for your body, because there is no such thing as one diet fits all necessarily. We're all unique, and therefore our bodies and our needs will be too, but these are tools and guidelines that help us figure out what is right for somebody. So awesome, Reed. Thank you so much. And again, thank you everybody for hanging in there with us as well too.
Okay, night night.
All right, go ahead and stop the broadcast.